everyone, welcome back to my channel and to a sit down video. I've not recorded a sit down video in the longest time, especially when it comes to foodie content, but I've had a lot of people reaching out to me recently asking for meal hacks and things that people can do if they've gone back to work after being furloughed, how they can keep themselves on track, on a routine, or perhaps those that have busy families at home. The summer is officially about to begin, so these are some really basic and fantastic meal hacks that not only served me well during my journey and kept me on focus, kept me on my target, but also I think are just great generally for you guys to adopt to make sure that you're having really lovely nutritious meals, family meals at home. And I think the first thing that we all need to think about is meals that can be done in advance. Cooking in advance is going to become your best friend, especially if you have children at home, especially if you have really erratic work hours, or perhaps your work hours are set to increase, you don't quite know what's going on, and you're a bit worried about how you're going to fit in that cooking time that you may have had when you were at home furloughed. So I think the key is preparation. The key is to get yourself organised and to try and make as much as you can in advance. And that leads me on to my next point, which is batch cooking and freezing. I've done a whole video on meal planning, batch cooking and freezing, what I like to do, the products I like to use. Check out the description box, by the way, for useful videos and also for links to the Tupperwares that I use and the stretchy lids that preserves food for longer in a more sustainable and eco-friendly way. Check all of that out. I can assure you, when you're tired and you want a decent meal, it can be really easy to pick up that phone and order a takeout, whereas if you have a treasure trove of lovely delicious meals in your freezer, you will thank yourself for it, because you just get it out the night before or the morning before and it will defrost happily throughout the day for you to have that lovely meal. And it's just great for things that you enjoy as well, like Korean chicken, pizza dough. You can even make dough and bread in advance and stick it in the freezer, so definitely utilize that. This one is one I personally really enjoy, and that is slow cooking. And it reminds me that my trusty slow cooker that I've had for about 15 years recently died. It died just after my last What I Eat in a Day, which hasn't gone live yet. It's due to go live not tomorrow, the day after. But it died and I need to buy myself a new one, so this reminds me. But you guys have seen me use my trusty slow cooker for the longest time. Basically it's a unit that you use and you put ingredients into it: casseroles, curries, stews, dals, things like bolognese, chilies, cuts of meat, and you can put it in the slow cooker and then go about your business and it's sat cooking away, and in the evening you have the most delicious flavorful meal that really has enabled you to have more time because it's just been sat bubbling away on its own, but also the richness and flavor that you can invest by slow cooking over time is like no other. So invest in a slow cooker. I'm going to put the one that I'm just about to buy from Amazon in the description box down below, so you guys can go and check that out. We can have the same one. And the next hack is one that I use all of the time, and honestly guys, this is not one to be overlooked, and it is one pot wonders. So one pot wonders are things like chilies, spaghetti bolognese, curries. Basically it's a dish where pretty much everything goes into one pot, and not only does this save on the washing up, which is always ideal, but it's just nice to have everything in one place, so you're not having to make side dishes, you're not having to make other things, and everything just gets a little bit busy. If everything goes into one pot or one oven tray, like a shepherd's pie, a cottage pie, or even a roast chicken with veg around the side, it just, again, it frees up that time and it makes sure that you're getting a really lovely meal but you're not having to put a ton of effort in. I mean, I love cooking anyway, so I never really see it as an effort, but I did back in the day. There were times when the last thing I wanted to do was any kind of cooking or baking, and I just found that at the beginning, when I was kind of trying to juggle my time and figure myself out, things that went into one pot and things that were that much more simple and didn't have a ton of washing up at the end kind of inspired and motivated me to keep going. So that is definitely one that I would suggest. The next one is another like wee kitchen tool that I adore, and that is invest in a processor where possible. A processor can do so many things. It can mix up ingredients for you like doughs and pancakes and cookie dough and things like that, but also you can make marinades. And the best thing about marinating is it's something that's done in advance, so it's something that you can do the night before and then put it in the fridge and then just pop it in the oven the next day. So things like Korean chicken, red curry, curry paste that you can freeze in batches and then again have them for later days. I'm sure most people that probably have a small child in the house or have weaned in the past will have some kind of processor, but I'm going to pop the one I use in the description box down below. It is the Magimix. I love it. It's not too expensive and it is so good. Again, I use it for marinades, I use it for pastes, I use it for baking. I use it for every opportunity, and I also use it for chopping veg, chopping garlic, things like that. So it's just really, really handy. And the next one is really crucial if you're one of those people that needs a plan and needs to know what they're doing in advance, or they get overwhelmed and then they end up ordering in, or they end up just grazing, or just having some toast, or just having something that's not that great for you, or snacking. And that is, have some kind of meal plan. Not only is this really beneficial for shopping, but also it's great to know what you're having. I'm not saying you have to have spaghetti on a Tuesday, curry on a Wednesday, roast chicken on a Thursday, but what I'm saying is, if you have a nice archive of things that you like to rotate on the week, you know, dishes that you really enjoy, it would be handy to have some kind of a meal plan that you can swap and change the days out. Again, it makes you less likely to have to be caught short and have to order a takeaway, or have to, again, just rely on convenience food or snacking food, that you'll find that if you are in WW, your points just get swallowed up by anything that you can make from yourself. Not only is it going to be more nutritious, but also you know exactly what's going into it, you know exactly how far your points will last you, and 9 times out of 10 you can have significantly more of something that you've, you know, made yourself. So I would definitely suggest, if you're getting caught short, meal planning is not only fantastic for shopping, budgeting, but it's also really great for keeping you on target and keeping you on plan. The next one is shop with specific meals in mind. So I used to always make the biggest mistake of going food shopping straight from work. So before I worked for myself, before I was a stay-at-home mum, I tended to go straight after my office job, which was 9 to 5. And I go straight from work, and I was ravenous. I was so hungry, and what I found was going into my basket was donuts, chocolate cake, everything that I fancied, everything that I saw, because you eat with your eyes, and if you're hungry, everything's going to go into that basket, whether it's good for you or not. What I would say is, and this kind of goes hand in hand with having a meal plan, have a specific meal in mind that you want to shop for. So I have this ritual that I do every Sunday night. I sit down with my favourite cookbooks, I sit down with my favourite recipes that I've made up, and I sit and think about the coming week ahead. And then I'll think about my shop. What do I need? What fresh ingredients do I need? What needs to be in my cupboard to make these meals happen? And that is how I do my shop. Don't get me wrong, snacks do go in there, chocolate goes in there. You've seen this from my grocery hauls, but I do like to have the core products in, so that whatever meals I decide to do, chances are I have majority of the ingredients. But I have a Tesco 5 minutes down the road, so it's not too much of an issue with me. But I do think shopping with specific meals in mind is shopping after you've eaten, so when you're not hungry basically. But also you have to take into consideration that times have really changed. This COVID thing has completely topped everyone's world upside down, so our routines are different, our shopping habits are different, when we can get to the supermarket is different, what's available is different. So, you know, be mindful of that, be kind to yourself, but also do what you can to aid the achievements that you want to get to. So that is my tip when it comes to shopping. And then my last tip kind of goes hand in hand with the shopping, and that is, before you do your food shop, do a fridge and cupboard audit to minimise your waste. So what I mean by that is, before you go shopping, when you're doing your little ritual, whatever night of the week it is, when you're looking at things you want to buy for the coming week, do a little fridge audit, do a freezer audit and a store cupboard audit. Find out exactly what you need. Find out exactly what meals you can make with the things that you have in to minimise that waste. Not only will that keep costs down, but also it's a great way to get inspired. I love just going to my pantry, opening the cupboard and thinking, what can I do with this food? Like, what is going to inspire me? What is going to inspire you guys as well? Because of course a lot of my content is cooking and baking. I like to keep myself inspired, but it's also important to keep the viewer inspired. And I am so lucky that you guys enjoy my What I Eat in a Days. If you haven't seen those, by the way, if this is your first video, I do them every other day and they do very, very well. So I like to do some kind of an audit just to see what I have in, see what I require, and it's just a fantastic way of making sure that I minimise waste, but also getting inspired, getting creative, wondering what I can do, what I can substitute things for, what I can mix up a little bit. And it's just a nice hack to have, really, because again, it makes you want to be more creative, and it makes you want to utilise what you have in, especially at the moment. As I mentioned, it's not as easy as to get to the supermarket. It's not as easy to go shopping as it was once before. I know that stock levels are slowly returning to normal and everything is not too difficult to obtain nowadays, but still, if we can take the learnings and apply it to now when things are a little bit better, I think that it will do well for us all. It's a really good thing to have learned. So thank you so much for watching. If you do have any meal hacks or foodie hacks, share them down below. I'm sure we'd all love to hear from you. This shirt, by the way, is from New Look. I love it. I have not really bought many clothes during lockdown or anything like that. I'm trying to wear what I already have in, so I'll try and link this if it's still available. But I love the cutout detail. I just think it's really sweet, and I'm just wearing it with my bog standard Topshop boyfriend jeans, so nothing too exciting. But I am wearing a red lip, which is new for me. So yeah, I hope you all like the look. But give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to see more videos from me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.